Hello everyone, my name is Blackwatch and welcome to another episode of How to Play in what is turning out to be my strongest run of form in about 9 months, so good to see you all again. And in this week's episode we're taking a look at Elżbieta Bosik, also known as Ela. She's the defender who used to be the scariest, craziest, most frightening person to go against, until she met Ubisoft's balance team. So, Ela is a 1-armor, 3-speed defender, and she's a member of the Polish Grom, along with her sister, Zofia. And she, as I mentioned, is a weird one, because Jaeger's always been the king. And I remember when I made my Jaeger guide, I talked about how Ela had kind of kicked him off the throne a little bit. And that was back when Ela had an SMG, the Scorpion Evo 3 A1. This was an SMG that had a 50-round magazine, had close to pinpoint accuracy, and it had a rate of fire that was rivaled pretty much only by that of the machine pistols at 1080 rounds per minute. It was ridiculous, and so it got nerfed through the ground. And now we have Ela in a state where she has only received nerfs since her release, which is something that's only happened to a select few other operators. So instead, we're going to leave the Scorpion because it's just too unwieldy to be reliable at the moment. You get maybe 2 or 3 rounds off, and then the gun becomes a Hail Mary. You have no idea where it's going to go, so only at pretty extreme close range, or if you're going to be tap firing, will you get any real use out of the Scorpion. Tap firing with a weapon that only deals 23 damage per shot and is incredibly inaccurate, not the best choice in the world. So instead we have the alternative, which is the FO12 shotgun, and that's what you're going to be shouting to your enemy when you crack them with this thing from about 14,000 miles away, because there's an extended barrel that tickles their teeth when you're firing. It's a very long gun, it's got a massive magazine, but it only holds 10 rounds for some reason. But the key is it's very accurate for an incredibly fast firing shotgun. It's not automatic, it is semi-automatic, but it fires pretty much as fast as the automatic shotgun that the Italians have, the ACS-12, and it's very, very good as a result. It's really kind of surprised me, because shotguns, especially semi-auto shotguns, tend to be left behind in Siege because they just don't have the same impact that they used to. But the FO12, for me at least, is one of the exceptions to the rule. Now, I won't deny, if you're strafing, that shotgun certainly has a pretty major problem with its hipfire accuracy, but the difference is you replace that accuracy with volume of fire and you kind of guaranteed to win gunfights within a 10 meter range, which is pretty impressive, you know. But regardless, definitely better than the Scorpion in my opinion, so stick that in your pocket. And then the thing that you will definitely have in your pocket, regardless of what you want to pick, is the RG15 sidearm. This is one of the only pistols in the game that has an integrated optic on it. It's got a very, very clean little red dot sight, but the trade-off is that it has some of the lowest damage of any pistol in the game. It's not very good at a pretty measly 38 damage. It has a reasonably high cap mag though. It's 15 plus 1, which is nice. And it's very accurate, it's close to pinpoint accurate, so if you're one of those people that likes to snipe with a pistol, you'll have fun with this, but only if you're hitting headshots. But it's an alright little backup. Now, Ela's real strength, and the thing that made her insane upon release back when she had 4 of them, is her Grzmot mine. But before I tell you about that, I'll just mention that there is barbed wire and a deployable shield that you can bring along with her. And for me, at the moment, until that deployable shield gets buffed, it's gotta be the barbed wire. It's just too strong a gadget not to bring in, especially when you've got the Grzmot mines to play around with. So these bad boys are essentially the same as Zofia's Thunder rounds, concussive rounds, which you could also call Grzmot rounds, even though they're actually not, but they kind of are. It's a strange one. So they concuss the enemy. This affects their hearing, this affects their vision, it affects their movement. They can't sprint properly once they've been hit by a Grzmot mine. If they have some sort of action that's going ahead, that action will be cancelled. It's very difficult to hear. There's a big noisy filter that fills up the screen, and it's just a hell of a nasty time when you get hit by this. And that is what makes her so strong, and that's why they had to take one of them away, because she used to have 4. So these mines can be used in a number of ways to make ambushes, to be used actively as a weapon in a firefight if you're feeling really ambitious. But it's essentially an intel gadget and a denial gadget and an ambush gadget all rolled into one, and it's up to you to decide how it's going to be used. So the strengths of this operator: very accurate pistol, a ridiculous shotgun. I mean, I like it a lot, you might not like it much. Sickeningly good gadget. I just want to go back to that again. The gadget is so good. I mean, really, really good if it works. And she's very good at ambushing as a result, because she has a kit that just fits in with that kind of playstyle. The weaknesses though, she cannot deal with ranged engagements properly. I don't care how accurate you are with a pistol, I don't care how many times you're going to say that you get those sick one-tap headshots. All it takes is the one day that you don't hit that shot, and any attacker with any weapon with an ACOG on it, or even a reflex sight or something, is going to wipe you off the face of the earth. Pistols do not contend with assault rifles. That's just the dynamic of the game. That's the way it was built. Don't try to contest otherwise. You will be at a disadvantage at range regardless of what weapon you pick. If you pick the Scorpion, it's still going to underperform, so you will not be able to handle range particularly well. However, you also have the shotgun to bring things up when you're up at close, so it's that trade-off. You're very strong up close, but you're very, very weak far away. And just to emphasise that again, the pistol is not the best backup either. One of the things that you tend to find with some other operators is, while they maybe don't have the best primary, they do have a secondary that will make up some of the ground. That's just not the case here. You kind of have to live within the confines of the weapon suite that you're given. And the worst thing is that she just maybe isn't as good as other picks. The main strength of roamers is not what they bring to the table in terms of gadgets, it's what they bring to the table in terms of their performance in firefights, because they are the main engagers. They want to be hitting up head on and getting those picks early on, and this is where she just might not have as much to offer as the likes of Vigil and Jaeger. However, that doesn't mean we can't play her and enjoy her. So with the Grzmot, you want to use it in a couple of different ways. You want to use it for intel. If you use it for intel, you want to remember where you've put those mines down, you want to have a good headset, and you want to listen to where they've detonated, or you want to use your teammates to communicate with you and let them know which mine is detonated, so that you have a general idea of where people are coming from. You're using it in a similar way to a Legion mine, but if you use it in this way, that's fine. But the best way to use this is to have someone stunned and then capitalise on their stun. So it's alright if it's then going to be capitalised upon by your teammates, but if it's not, then I definitely think there are better ways to utilise this beast. The other one is to use it for denial. This is where you need to remember where you've placed it, and you need to not waste it. So don't just chuck it out somewhere where it's going to be easily spotted, and don't chuck it out somewhere where someone is going to be very, very far away from the objective and no pressure is going to be applied. You want to use this to deny things like fast pushes, like different gadgets going off in certain positions. If you know someone's going to be going in and trying to place a thermite charge on a wall and you want to sit and wait nearby, crack a Grzmot mine inside of a cupboard or something like that. If you want to deal with an Ashe who's been pissing you off all round, who keeps on rushing in, and you want to stop her from moving her feet as fast, slap a Grzmot mine in the path of her rush. There's loads of different options. And the final one, and my personal favourite one, is the ambush. You wait by a Grzmot that you have primed, you leave other ones down to cover your flanks, and then you listen, and once that mine goes off, you crack heads with that shotgun and you make sure you close the distance. The other thing I like to do is to save one for later, because it can be useful occasionally. If you get caught in a fight and it's getting a bit hairy, you can throw one down. It's got a very short arming time, so the likelihood is you can basically use it like a concussive grenade rather than a pre-placed concussive mine, because it's a small hitbox for a thing that's going to do a lot to them, and you will win fights like this. And I have lost many fights against an Ela who has done this and then run at me with a 12 gauge shotgun stuck up my arse. So tips with Ela: beware your teammates when you're placing your Grzmot mines. Don't stick a mine right in the face of your teammate, because he's just going to be getting hit by it as well. And as I say, the concussive effect is incredibly strong, but it's also very detrimental to your teammate if he's trying to defend a push and then he's been slapped in the face by your Polish technology. Think about it. Be smart. Don't place it right next to where someone's sitting. Try and put it somewhere a bit more safe, even just a couple of meters away from him, so that it's going to affect the enemy and not the teammate. Keep the fights as close as you can. As I say again, and I want to continuously emphasize this because I see a lot of Ela players going out trying their best to use that Scorpion at long range and mid range. It's just not going to work out for you, man. So keep it close. Make sure that you can close the distance. Use that headset to keep you going, and make sure you communicate with your teammates. Use your intel gadgets and just find out where the enemy is and try to keep the fights as close as possible. Don't engage until you're close enough to really do the damage so that you can end that fight quickly. So you want to close that distance, but you want to close it safely. Don't be running out into the middle of nowhere expecting to be okay. No Man's Land was a dangerous place for a reason. Hide your Grzmot mines well. This is pretty easy to do because they're very small, but there's some occasions where you'll see people sticking them on the ceiling, and it's very easy to spot a big grey ice cream cone sitting down from the wall when it's got a red light on it. So instead, maybe if there's a little bit of wall protruding somewhere, or there's something sticking down from the ceiling, maybe a bar, if you aim for the flat side of the bar facing you and throw it at it, it's going to be concealed because it will be hanging horizontally against the ceiling instead of sticking down vertically. So try and go for things like that. Find little nooks and crannies to hide it in, and make sure that it's out of the general eye line of the enemy. Prep things with your shotty if you're going to be running the FO12, and I do highly recommend it because you're basically getting the same firepower as the Scorpion, but you're getting it with the ability to destroy hatches. I honestly think it's much better. If you don't agree with me, that's fine, you can play with a Scorpion, but at least give it a try with that laser sight and extended barrel. You might be surprised. And don't be afraid to run away from a fight. That's one of the biggest things I can say about Ela, is that sometimes you're just going to have to accept that your shotgun's not going to be able to reach them, and there's no point in kamikazing yourself with the pistol because you're taking yourself out of the game when you could have just swallowed your pride, dropped out of a hatch and re-engaged somewhere else. Don't make a silly decision, make the smart decision, get out of there, live to fight another day. And a final little tip, if you've hung around till the end, she has a mine strapped to her body, so if she gets downed, she can then detonate it. Don't detonate it if you've been down next to teammates. Only detonate it if you've been downed in close proximity to the enemy, because it will be a problem for them. They'll probably confirm the kill on you anyway, but the mine will go off regardless. It's a bit like a martyrdom from Call of Duty, if anyone remembers that perk. I don't know if that's still in the games now, but it's when you used to drop a live grenade, and it was great fun in COD 4. So remember that, enjoy playing Ela. She's not the best, she is not the worst, she is not in the middle, she can be all of the above. It really depends on how you play her and how much fun you have with her, because at the end of the day, Rainbow is best when you're enjoying operators. Don't just go with the meta, don't just go with the easy picks that you see all the time, you see streamers playing, all that kind of stuff. Try everyone, give everybody a chance and enjoy the game, because otherwise you're just going to get bored playing Ash and Jaeger all the time. Try something different. Try Ela with the FO12 shotgun. Have fun guys, go and rip them up with that shotgun for me. Do svidania, bye bye.